What's up, guys? We're here for another episode of the Discipline and Legacy podcast. I got my boy Anthony Napolitano. This guy's been killing it in the industry and health, mindset, fitness. We've been following each other on social media for a little while now. My buddy introduced me to him, and he's got an awesome story. He's got an awesome story. He started real young, has been real successful from being real young, and I think it would bring a lot of value to the audience. And I appreciate you making time to come in today, man.
Yeah, excited for today. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah. Obviously, Discipline and Legacy. Just, I guess we'll start with, a little bit of your background, your past, kind of how you grew up, where you grew up, and what kind of molded you into having the discipline that you have today to be on the path that you're on.
Yeah, so I grew up playing sports. Sports
Yep.
was everything. Two-sport athlete in high school, baseball and basketball.
Okay.
And decided to pursue baseball at the next level. That was kind of like, hey, next level, go to college, play baseball there, get drafted. That's the journey, right? Yeah. That was kind of the dream as a little kid.
That was my sport.
Yeah, right? That was kind of what I pursued. But I could tell you that really helped me from where I'm at today, right? Because I developed consistency. Every single weekend we were traveling, doing, tournaments in different places. That was literally my life.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like a kid partying. Never did any of that stuff. It was sports, school, always had good grades. But, of course, sports was my passion.
Right.
And in college, that's kind of where the entrepreneurship kind of started, my freshman year at college. But sports was really everything in the early years.
Gotcha. And you're from here, or you raised here?
Grew up, in Port St. Lucie. Yeah.
And so where'd you play?
So I actually went to John Carroll and Centennial.
Okay.
Yep.
I was a Central guy, so
Okay.
But Centennial was like a new school whenever I was in high school. Okay, and then where'd you end up going to
I went to
college?
Florida Gulf Coast University my freshman year, and then I transferred my sophomore year to Galveston, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Baseball schools.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then what happened after that?
Yeah, so basically my freshman year at college, a buddy of mine said, Ant, I think you'd be really good at what we got going on. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean? I had no idea what he's going at, what direction, right? And he's like, hey, let's sit down, let's talk about it. He actually showed me a business idea that they had, and I was like, okay, I think I could actually play a role here. The business had the potential to create residual income.
Okay.
And I like residual income. I thought that was a really cool concept. Didn't have any income or any money at that time, but the concept sounded good.
College sports player.
College
yeah.
sports, that was all I was thinking about at the time. But he's like, hey, this could be a great way. He was driving a brand new car at the time. Okay, so that kind of was like, oh, he's doing decent at this, right? I have no money. I have an older vehicle. I'd like to have a nicer vehicle, right? It wasn't like something I was thinking career path or anything like that. So we got involved together in the business, and, long story short, within 6 months, I was making a significant income, a full-time, plus income, let's just say. And within the first year, I was making six figures while I was going to school and playing sports.
Yeah.
So I was like, by 19, I was already making six figures in the business we were doing. And I was like, okay, this might even be something a little bigger. I'm not really putting much effort into it, and we're already making some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
So we basically got involved with a physical product. It was actually an energy drink at the time.
Okay.
And we were just marketing for the company. And we were basically getting a percentage of all the sales.
Wow. That's awesome. And then you had social media at the time?
Yeah, so it was a lot of influence right on the college campus. We were just sharing it with kids, getting customers to buy the product, really learning kind of sales. And it was a really cool experience because I didn't know anything about sales, didn't know anything about talking to people. I would say I was honestly kind of shy previously to getting involved, but it really helped me develop people skills. That was a really cool thing. And by doing that, we started generating residual income. And that's kind of what led me to where I'm at today, because with that income, I decided, I want to learn how to invest. I want to get into real estate. Like financial markets and real estate were two things that really stood out to me. So I was like, okay, now I'm generating some capital. Instead of spending it on stupid stuff, let's go invest it. And that's kind of at 19 where I was like, okay, I'm not going to be selling these products no more. I'm actually going to sell financial education. So I decided to make that transition because I developed the sale of skills, but I got into something I was more passionate about.
Yeah. And so, when you made that transition, did you finish college? You got your degree?
So no, I basically, going into the junior year of college, I was like, hey, the business is so big already now, right? Like you're making so much. I was making, disclaimers, not typical, right? But I was making, in a month what a teacher made in a year.
Yeah.
My junior year of college. So I was like, okay, I still love baseball. That was a hard thing because I was like, do I give this up? Because this is something I've done my whole life. Like this is something that's all I know. Now, okay, this business is going really well. I'm probably not putting in my full potential to this business.
What are your parents got to say about all this?
They
at
were
the
like
time?
baffled.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were baffled. And my
But
mom,
obviously you're an adult, but
yeah, no, my mom was still like, you can never leave school. Like, you like, right? Like, she's still that mindset. Don't matter how much money you're making, right? Your mom's like in that mindset of like, you need
well,
that.
even
right?
like football players, they tell them that they're like, you should at least get your degree before you get drafted and stuff like that. Because what happens if you blow your knee out, whatever, like, so. But I mean, I had that conversation with my son, and I think I said it on one of my other episodes where I was like, I dropped out in the 11th grade and I got my GED, but with the different kind of entrepreneurial mindset, I was selling drugs and I made a life for myself at a younger age. Like I was working full time, like doing better than my mom at 18 years old with a full time job. So there was that thing that was said even with my son, like, yeah, school, you got to go because if you don't go to school, we get arrested or whatever. But you don't really need to go to college. I have a degree that I don't even use, and it was for fire and EMS, and that was a hard one too because you're like, you went to school to be a firefighter, paramedic. Why'd you stop doing that? And it's like, it just wasn't for me. There were some other circumstances that kind of just made me realize that, like, hey, just because I went to school for this doesn't mean I got to do it for the rest of my life. And but yeah, so that's I wanted to see what your parents are saying.
Yeah, so at the time they were, you're crazy, right? Yeah. I think my dad was less than my mom, right? My mom was more like, you need this.
Were you like helping them at the house, like here fixing the window?
They really were very like,
they're well off already.
In a sense of like, they just very independent.
Yeah.
They don't want, like, you go build your life.
Yeah.
Right? Like that kind of mindset, which
my mom's like, you going to put gutters on my house? And like, why don't you buy me a new car? And I'm like,
no, they weren't like, they wanted to see me succeed. They never really wanted, they just wanted to give us a good life. But then they were like, hey, like, we don't want anything back. Like, they were very much
they
like that.
did their part.
Yeah, they did their part, for sure. And, that junior year, I decided to step away and pursue the business full time.
Yeah.
And
what were you going to school for?
Yeah, finance and marketing.
Okay, so you were already in that realm.
I was like,
it
was like kind of business,
direction.
finance, marketing. Initially, I went like business. Then it was like more geared towards finance. I was like, okay, finance kind of makes a little sense to me.
I wish I would have learned more about finance at a younger age and that kind of stuff, because now learning about the IRS and taxes and all that, like, I wish I knew more at a younger age.
Like, that's what I do full time now. So to see the statistics and see the numbers, you would be insanely mind blown. 95% of Americans who win the lottery file bankruptcy.
Wow.
That's like the most insane statistic you've ever heard.
I remember watching that show that where like people's lives get destroyed from winning the lottery. Yeah.
Because they have no clue what to do with the money. They don't understand the upkeep, taxes. They don't understand anything of the things that they're doing with this capital, and they get themselves in trouble very quickly. So I always tell people it's not about how much money you make. It's about how much money you keep.
Yeah.
That's really the name of the game.
How much at the end of it, it's strategically doing what you can do as a business or whatever. So I'm learning it at 40. I wish I would have learned it sooner, but there may be something there too, is just teaching young people about how to deal with money.
Yeah. And just invest in general. Like, our society is financially sick because of social media. That's the reality of it. Everyone wants to look rich, not be rich.
What is the saying? They say broke people live like they're rich and rich people live like they're poor. Yeah. And it's true. I mean, from what I've seen is that most people that I have that I know that are pretty well off, very frugal.
So that's kind of where the journey kind of started. Like, in what I'm doing today, what I've been doing the last 11 plus years of my life. It's been the same thing, been locked in, building a business, and it's been a fun journey so far.
Yeah. So that's it. Like, you've been on the go since that day.
Yeah. So since that day, we basically said, okay, hey, financial services, in a sense, financial education was kind of going to be the thing that I really got passionate about. And we created basically a platform. Basically about 4 or 5 years into building the platform, we became publicly traded. Wow. So yeah, we're on the U.S. stock market. So we built a pretty cool business there. And then over the last 5 years, the business has had so much success that we've been able to take profits from the business, let's say. So the money the business has generated, and go out there and, let's say, diversify the business. Yeah. Go buy other entities to bring more revenue to the parent company. So kind of like Amazon owns, the marketplace, which the marketplace isn't really the cash cow. It's the AWS data center business. That's more the cash cow. People don't understand, like, Meta owns Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. They're different companies. So we own, multiple entities today from the success of the initial entity.
Well, you said something pretty powerful that I want to kind of touch on too. You said we.
Yeah.
So it's not you. It's you with a partner.
Team, yeah, publicly traded company, board, lots of employees.
That is important to touch on because a lot of people in life, I think, when you become a contractor, you're like, I did this, and I got to build this company, and you don't realize that you need a team, you need people who know what's going on to kind of run the show for you, whatever, and not to leave them in a box. I talked about it this morning. Is that you want them to be like you or better, take your spot, because at some point
everyone's good at certain things.
Yeah.
Like we always say, you put the right people in the right seats. That's how you build a great business, right? Some people are going to be great at marketing. Some people are going to be great with the finances. Some people are going to be great at this, that, whatever the case may be. But putting people in the right seats is how you run a successful company. You cannot do it on your own.
Right.
So every great business out there, there's many, many great employees, many, many great individuals who are board members or whatever the case may be, depending on what kind of business it is. But the reality is a lot of people doing their part to make it successful.
And the partnerships too, like whoever you're, because what's it with Raw with C-Bum, it was like, it's a great partnership. You can't go wrong there.
Oh yeah, especially in today's world with the internet, marketing is a very, very big one.
Yeah.
Sure.
So what would you say would be your best strong suit as part of that team?
Yeah, I would say consistency. I'm not the best at anything. I'd say there's people better at many different things than me, but a lot of people are very limited. They're very good at this, but maybe really bad at everything else. I'd say I'm decent at a lot of things, but I'm consistent with the activity. I will outwork people. I will show up every single day, wake up early, go do what I need to do to be successful. That was like my bread and butter since I was a little kid.
Okay.
Yep.
And so as a little kid, so that was instilled in you early on.
And I think that was from the sports. Practices, routines, that was my life. It was like, hey, go to school, go to practice, game.
Eat, sleep, and breathe it. That was me, man. Like I got picked up from daycare after school, and we went to. Dad brought me a Hot Pocket in the truck as I'm putting my baseball clothes on, and I'm like, that was just my life. And I can identify with sports really being a foundation builder for me for discipline, having discipline. Yeah. So you're a few years in here now. You guys are a publicly traded company. Yep. Tell us where we're at now.
Yeah, today we've really diversified the platform. So we are still largely focused on financial education. That's our bread and butter. That's what we're really good at. We've really developed that business globally. We have customers in 85 countries. So we've really done well with that. But now we've also added other, I guess you could say, verticals to the platform. With the money that the, let's say, education business has made, we went out there and acquired a broker-dealer. So we have our own micro-investing app launching in the next few weeks, actually. Pretty exciting. So we bought a company called Open Cash. It was in the early stages of getting ready to be a broker-dealer. We acquired it before it ever went public. And now we're going to be launching that app. So you'll see it in the App Store over the next few weeks. A competitor to Robinhood and Webull. It's a micro-investing app. So that's really beneficial because, of course, our customers already all trade. They're all going to different places. Let's say they're going to Schwab, E-Trade, Fidelity. Come to us.
I never understood that too, even when because I've dabbled in the crypto thing, and it's not something I didn't get in early. I wasn't that guy that bought a pizza with my Bitcoin back in the day. But there's 3 different apps that I use, and it's like, why am I using 3 apps? And now and the other day I got hit. People are trying to fraudulently take money from my crypto account. So I had to completely shut that down before I.
Yeah, there's a lot of platforms today. Most of them are single focused, but now you're having these let's say everything apps like the Coinbases and the Robinhoods. They can do everything: stocks, crypto, prediction markets, all in one place. So ours initially is going to launch as an equities platform, a stock platform, and then of course over time we'll transition and add multiple verticals. So you don't have to go here, use 19 apps to do. Basic finance stuff, let's say.
100%.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's one of the things. We also bought a health and wellness manufacturing company called Renew Labs. So this is pretty cool. They've been in business a very long time, making a lot of products you actually see in companies like CVS, Walgreens, products you see every single day. But they were the manufacturer behind the product. So they never had their own brand. So we decided to acquire that company because we also want to sell physical products eventually in our ecosystem. So we created a brand called My Life Wellness. And we're launching many products. We already have our coffee in the marketplace. We have skincare. We have a full health stack coming out in the next 60 days. You're going to have basically an energy product. So instead of like drinking Red Bull or some energy drink, you could actually take a pill, healthy energy pill, focus, instead of Adderall and different things. Correct. Just a healthy energy pill. We actually have a drink product that will be for gut health and has a GLP-1 activator in it, which is pretty unique. And then we also have a sleep product as well. So yeah, we're going to come out with all these lines.
So it's essentially, it's a supplement company that you guys are formulating supplements to kind of do what you want them to do with your name on it.
Correct. So yeah, so our brand will be, in different places. We will retail the product as well. You can buy them from us directly, like the website, and we'll have like affiliate programs where people can actually share them, get a discount, etc. But if you buy them in like retail stores, of course, they're going to be at a higher price.
Right.
So we create a cool model with it. But yeah, you'll see the brand get all over the next.
What are your thoughts on wellness? Health and wellness is like the new thing. Like, people, less and less kids are smoking cigarettes, less and less kids are drinking, and people are transitioning into healthier lifestyle. For me, I transitioned because I didn't want to die younger. My family was all, died at a younger age because of smoking and overweight issues and or drinking. And so what are your thoughts on the new peptide stuff coming out?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things. A lot of it's not been in the market long enough to really understand the effects of it.
Right.
That's just a simple reality.
That's why I think FDA is probably not pushing it yet.
Yeah, so we'll see a lot of things probably evolve over the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are also cutting corners on things. What we're going to do is like natural stuff. We're not doing stuff that's going to need a prescription at this point. But at the end of the day, there are some really incredible products. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we haven't seen them be around for 15, 20 years.
They would say that about like Monsters and Red Bull.
Correct.
Like you don't know what the long-term
effects is going to do to your body. Yeah.
We had a guy, I worked for the fire department on the west coast of Florida, and he was probably early 30s, but he, it tells you on the back of the Monster can, like don't exceed 3 a day. This dude was drinking 6, 7 a day. He had a heart attack in his low 30s. And luckily it happened at the fire station. So we were, and a lot of people like can attribute or would think that was attributed to his excessive energy drinking.
Yeah. I would say we're going to learn a lot about some of this new stuff over the next few years.
Yeah.
We have to see the effects of people taking this stuff for multiple years and see what it actually does to the body. Some of it might be, perfectly good. I'm not saying it's all going to be bad or anything like that. You don't know. It's just the early days of it. But we're trying to focus on health and wealth. And at the end of the day, I always tell people, what is money without your health? 100%. Okay. Or what is, great health, but no money?
Yeah.
It's still a bad situation either way you shake it. You kind of need that combination to have a great life. So
it's like the whole mind, body, and spirit thing. They all work well when they go together. So yeah, I mean, sometimes, and then obviously, most people who say this aren't super wealthy, but some things money can't buy as well. So but you need to have that mindset and wellness intact to be able to have those things that don't cost money.
You could have all the money in the world if you die at 30 years old.
100%.
Like, okay, you really didn't get to experience that much of life.
Right.
So the reality is that combination I think is powerful. That's kind of what we've been focused on. And then of course, I think lifestyle as well in the sense of like experiences.
Yeah.
Life is about experiences, right? Traveling the world, seeing your kids grow up, whatever the case may be, like doing things. When you like look back on the journey, you're not going to say, "Oh, I made a ton of money."
Right.
You're going to be like, "Oh, I remember that vacation. I remember doing that with my son or daughter, or whatever the case may be." You're going to talk more about that stuff than money. So I think that full combination is kind of key, and that's kind of what we're trying to hit on with all these different verticals.
That's awesome, man. You got a great platform for sure.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that we kind of talked about before, and I don't know if it's more geared towards what you do, but as far as like you said that you kind of had some influence because of your success of your business, and it turned into like public speaking and stuff like that, which is, a big part of social media today, right? You be careful who you watch because of you're being influenced. You don't know who you're being influenced by and stuff like that. But, I've seen your Instagram. You definitely have a great message. And talk about that a little bit. Talk about how that transition happened for you, because I have people asking me all the time, like, hey, how can I do that? I want to share my story, but I'm scared. I don't, I feel like what are people going to think about me?
Yeah. For me, it kind of naturally happened with the success in the business. Okay. So kind of like having success in the business, more people wanted to learn from you, hear from you, like understand how you did what you did or what was going on with your business and how you did it at such a young age. So that kind of started, piquing the interest of like, hey, can you come speak here? Can you do this, that, whatever? And that's kind of how it grew. Honestly, I didn't think it would, if I looked back, a decade ago, I wouldn't have thought it's going to get like, my mindset was just make money in the business, provide for my family, do my job in a sense with that regard. But I've been able to give so much value outside of that because of, the influence I've been able to develop from the success within the platform.
Isn't that crazy how it works? It's like, you never know. You're just doing what you do, and then how other things just come to fruition. You get on like a certain like frequency, I guess, where I notice that myself. It's like, man, everything's just coming at me. I mentioned like your phone. Mm-hmm. You mentioned something about a T-shirt. Next thing you know, all of these T-shirts start popping up on your feed or on your. So same thing in life, man. If you speak it into existence and walk the walk, then it just kind of provides it for you.
Yeah, it just gets bigger and bigger the more you do it too, right? Like consistency is everything. That's like I told you, that's what I'm good at.
Yeah,
I'll show up. I'll do what I need to do.
Same. Yeah, I can identify with that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So, and how is that moving for you now? Is it more of like a speaking? Are you going to do that publicly, or is it just more for what you got going on with the business?
So combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot for what I do, right? Mm-hmm. Building my business specifically. But then also, of course, people ask me, hey, can you come speak at this event? Right. Can you come speak at that event? And of course, I don't do a lot of them, to be transparent with you. I do them for the people that I know and have relationships with. A lot of the time I'm like, hey, I'd rather just focus on, my business and, hey, I'm not really into that point of life.
Right.
Or maybe once I, retire, whatever from what I'm doing, and maybe I want to pursue that at another level, maybe I'll do that more. But right now I'm kind of focused on...
Has to be aligned.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I can identify with that as well.
Yeah.
I've had quite a few affiliate folks that reach out, and it's like, oh, yeah, we do this. And it's like, well, I mean, I'm kind of like... not walking that way, so it doesn't fit me. But thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, 100%.
And you have to have that as well. You have to be able to say no to people. So that's awesome. So you got that going on now. Mm-hmm. What's coming up in the future?
I would say what I truly love doing is investing. Financial markets is like my baby. I actually run 2 products in the financial education system, one called Stock Talk and one called Crypto Talk.
Okay.
So I trade stocks and crypto live. People get to see it. I'm not day trading. They're long-term investments. So minimum, when I buy something, I'm typically holding a minimum 6 months, right? So it's not like going in and out of the market the same day, not that type of stuff. Some of them I've been holding for multiple years. And I get on live and the audience is able to see exactly what I'm buying. Nope, within our educational platform. Yeah. So I used to do a lot
part of the community.
Yes. So back in the day, I used to do a lot of free stuff, even had videos on YouTube and everything. But it just got so big that they were like, hey, you're giving too much free value. Like we should be doing it within the platform.
You still got the free videos out there?
I still have a bunch of... No, I pulled all the... I had to pull it all. So I had a bunch of financial education.
Trying to get some game for the kids out there.
I was trying to give a ton of financial education stuff on the YouTube back in the day. Mm-hmm. I pulled it all. I still have all like entrepreneurship, that kind of stuff on the YouTube channel. But that financial side of things is all within our platform today. Okay. And that's part of the financial education pack. But I do 2 live sessions a week, Monday and Wednesday. Monday for crypto, Wednesday for stocks. And people get on, they get to see my portfolio live.
Wow.
So they get to see the growth of it. They get to see, why did you buy this company? People in the live chat, I'm breaking down companies in real time, going through financials. Like,
wow,
that's the world I fell in love with.
If you know it and you're good at it, I mean, that's, it's like, to me, I don't understand it. I don't know anything about it. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street to me.
Yeah, it's definitely a different game. I think most people don't have success in investing because they're risky money they're not willing to lose. And they also don't have patience. You could find the right company.
Yeah.
You could find the right thing to invest in, but a lot of the time people are using money, like I said, that they're not willing to lose. Meaning if the investment goes down a little bit today, they're like panic stricken.
Right.
They sell the investment for a loss. Like why would you sell it today for that? Like we know long term this company is going to be worth a lot more money, like understanding the fundamentals of a business, but they're investing money they're not willing to lose, so they take that loss.
Wow.
2 years later, that investment could have been worth significantly more money.
Right.
So patience is a big deal. People like instant gratification. That's why most people won't win. You can look at the richest people on our planet. Most of them weren't even millionaires until they were in their mid-30s.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's crazy. Go look at Warren Buffett's journey.
Yeah.
But patience is very, very key. So like when you buy an asset, understanding, okay, I got to give this thing time to develop. Time is actually your friend when it comes to investing.
Yeah.
And everyone's always trying to fight time.
That's it. Well, I always thought time wasn't with crypto because crypto's so
Volatile.
right.
Yeah.
So, and I started to learn about that. Just watched some YouTube videos, kind of dabbled in it a little bit, and
Yeah.
I did good. But I have a Latin wife that had access, and she's like, "You better take that out of there, boy." And like, but I'm definitely want to get back into investing for sure.
Yeah. It's all about compounding.
Yeah.
Right. Compounding your money. Same effects in anything. Assets will always appreciate because we'll always print more money.
Yeah.
Simple math, right? If the Fed is going to print money, our money's always going to become worth less, so your asset's always going to become worth more. We always say inflation does not affect rich people.
Yeah.
Why do I say that? Because, okay, gas going up, food going up. It doesn't really matter when your house doubled or all your, investments, your stocks are up 300% in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You don't give a shit about a few dollars here and there. Inflation kills the average guy.
Right.
Who's trying to pay his bills, right? And now,
who is on a set budget. Yeah.
Correct. That has no investments, that's living paycheck to paycheck, which is, 3/4 of the country, 75% of the country. So inflation kills them, but the wealthy person doesn't bother them at all because all their assets become worth a lot more.
What would you say to somebody like the average Joe on something that they could invest in?
Yeah.
Like that.
I would say you have to start.
Okay.
So listen to what I'm trying to say here. You have to start to be great. A lot of people, they think, I only have a couple $100 that I could maybe throw into the markets right now. Maybe I'm 18 years old. When I was 18, 19 years old, I started with a few $100s.
Right.
Okay. But I was like understanding in my head, if I can consistently throw a few $100s every week, what could that be in a few years, right? I had that type of mindset. So people always say, I don't have enough money to invest. Well, they'll never have enough money to invest because it's not about the money. It's about their habits.
100%.
Okay? So they got to start, get into the game. And then when you start understanding how the game works, you start compounding that over time. And of course, you're not looking to turn $100 to $1 million. That's how you lose your money, right? You're understanding, hey, slow growth over time with the right strategy. I think that is the key. But I think too many people think they don't have the money to start. So that's why they'll never have the money.
And it's almost like the same thing as, savings. And you pretty much already know that money's gone.
Gone.
You don't have it. It's not for you to.
Correct.
And that's why I don't even have my savings account connected to my banking because I don't even want to see it. I don't even want to know what's in there. Correct. And learning now that like saving money in a bank is kind of stupid.
Losing your money. For sure. Yeah, like money, of course, that's a great point, right? Because most people think like we always say savers also.
The bank's making money off of my money. That's what they're doing.
It's great business, right?
Yeah.
Great business. But savers also never get ahead financially. Why? Because they save to spend. What do I mean by that?
Yeah, I'm saving up for this roof.
There you
I'm
go.
Saving up
for this car.
Yeah.
I'm saving up for this
down payment.
And guess what? They spend it and they start over.
I've had a really risky few years, high risk few years, and just maybe I've always thought I was like a unique person. I'm just different. I move different, and I just don't see like going to buy like a piece of property versus like a Porsche that could still be worth more or gain value. Whereas like, and I can drive it and have fun with it. If I got a lot in Central Florida, what am I going to do? Go sit on it and like, I got a lot, it's,
Yep.
And so I guess the higher risk stuff has been something for me and taking that few $100s and saying, you know what, here, putting it towards something that ends up making money.
Like you were just saying though, like in a portfolio, this is how I always teach people, right? When they get like in a portfolio, there's some conservative stuff. There's some higher risk stuff, right? Because if you want to get wealthy, you're going to have to take some risk. That's part of life, right? Most people don't make an income big enough to not take some risk.
Right.
You know what I mean? The average guy, if he's going to be worth millions of dollars, maybe later in life, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but like later in life, he's going to have to do some things because he doesn't have so much disposable capital on a weekly basis just to throw at stuff, right? But like real estate, it's safe. It's going to slowly go up over time, 3 to 5% a year on average. Go look at the last 30 years. It's going to slowly go up. Why? Because they print more money. Okay. Great companies. You own great stocks, you'll do pretty well over time. Why? Because guess what? The companies are going to appreciate, meaning they're going to grow. They're going to do good things, great companies. And guess what? The dollar becomes worth less.
Yeah.
So your stock's going to become worth more. It's simple stuff like that. But like you said, then you could be a little strategic. Hey, I'm going to flip this car. Hey, I'm going to do this.
Some people don't realize it. Like they're like, oh yeah, you got a Porsche. It's like, listen, the money I put down on it is money in the bank. It's not like it's, there's Ferraris that were bought a year ago at 300,000 that are worth $1 million today.
Correct.
A year ago.
Yeah.
And that's to me, and you get to drive it a little bit. I probably wouldn't drive them much, but The ones that are worth more, you don't want higher miles on. But
Correct.
it just little things like that I'm starting to learn about.
There's a million ways you can make money.
Yeah.
That's why I always tell people, if you're willing to work, you're willing to hustle, you could always make money.
That's it.
Okay? You just got to be willing to do that. But like you said, there's many things you can invest in and flip and be strategic with, but you got to know what you're doing.
Right.
Right? If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Right. That's why I always tell people, people ask me, like, we've had a platform for over a decade teaching financial education. They're like, why would I pay for that when I could go to YouTube? I'm like, really? That's what you think? Like, most of these YouTubers.
No, it's investing in yourself.
But no, like, just giving like perspective here. Like, most of these YouTubers, what are they doing? They have their own specific narrative. They're promoting different things that they're getting paid to promote.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things that you're not seeing, when you just get onto like a live stream, right? The reality is like I always tell people, education will actually save you time and money.
Yeah.
But most people want to try to shortcut education. So what do? They get themselves in trouble. They take very long journeys.
Well, they think of education. I think of education as a school.
Yeah.
And we talked about this here in the last week here, was that, the information age is dead. Like, there's schooling is, I'm not saying it's worthless. I mean, you still need doctors, you still need lawyers. Tradesmen, certifications are going to be worth getting paid more than doctors and lawyers in the near future, in my opinion. But you don't really need school anymore. You just need to know how to apply the information that you receive from YouTube, from wherever. But when it comes to classes and financial education and coaching and mentorship programs, when you talk about investing, the best person I can invest in is myself, because I know what I'm capable of. I know my level of drive, my level, I call it having that dog in you, So, and everybody has that opportunity. They just need to unleash it in themselves. And then you realize that you can continue to grow that. As you see, you're like, man, I did this, I can do this. And you like, what's next? But that's important. And you have to pay. And if you pay, you're going to pay attention, right?
You also pay to play in the world.
100%.
What do I mean by that? Like, if you want to get in the right circles, you're going to have to make some investments.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Like, you want to be in that room with these people. It might cost some money initially to get in that room until people know who you are. Yeah. That's life, right? And I've spent a lot of money on education, traveling all over the world. I've been to a million seminars over the last decade, like listening to different people, developing skill sets, right?
What was your favorite one?
That's a very tough question. I've seen everyone, like all the biggest that you can name.
What did you gain the most value from?
Over the years.
I had a couple Tony Robbins guys in here yesterday.
Tony's great. I've seen Tony many times. But Tony's more, to me, it's like motivation. Yeah. I don't need motivation. I'm self-motivated. So I've seen Tony many times, the biggest hands in the history of the world. When the guy claps, like, you're like, holy shit. Yeah. His hands are like 3 of my hands, right? Biggest dude you've ever seen on a stage. But I've seen everyone. I would just say, like, I've learned so much from a lot of people. Everyone's good at their own thing, right? And Tony's, the highest paid motivational speaker in the world.
Yeah.
Over 300,000+ an hour.
Yeah.
So he goes to your event. You're talking 2 hours. You're talking at least $600,000.
Wow.
Minimum.
I had no idea. I mean, I've heard of them before, but like yesterday with the 2 guys I had here, they were like, they paid almost $100,000 a year to be a part of his program.
Oh yeah.
And, and met him twice in the year because of paying that amount of money. So
yeah, Tony's been around for a very long time. He's also built some great companies today now with the money he's been able to make from that. But there's a lot of great ones out there. John Maxwell's incredible. There's a lot of good stuff.
Came to Christ Fellowship. Well, he's very connected with
Christ
Fellowship.
I've been to many events through the years when it comes to leadership aspects, but there's a lot of them.
What's your favorite Maxwell event? Book. Let's say that one.
Book. Ooh. Bro, he's got so many books. He's got like 15 books. I don't think there's one. Like I said,
we had the 21 Principles of Leadership.
It's an incredible. That's probably his biggest book of all time. But like, even I've seen Robert Kiyosaki multiple times. Okay. And I'm a finance guy, so Kiyosaki resonates with me a little bit, right? And just like seeing them, and then also seeing them backstage and learning like different things. It's always been, for me, just soaking up information. I've just always soaked up information. I learn every day. Yeah. I'm learning from you right now. Yeah. Like, we're meeting, I'm learning, I'm having a conversation, I'm learning things. Like, 100%. I think when you stop learning, you're gonna be in trouble. Okay. And people that think they know it all, they get themselves in trouble.
Yeah. It's not a journey, it's a destination. Or there's not a destination, it's a journey. So there's no like, I'm going to make it here. Usually anytime you make it to a spot or a goal, or for me, it's like, I want to get to here. And then it's like, all right, now what? What's next? You know, so there's always something more to go to. What would you say your more to go to is for you right now?
I would say my goal is to truly just impact people.
Okay.
I don't really have like a financial goal. I'm very happy where I'm at financially. I have a great life. Been a great life for a long time at a very young age. So it's been a complete blessing when it comes to that. I think impacting more people and just building a great business.
Okay.
That's kind of what motivates me.
You have kids?
Yes, one.
One?
Yep.
Wife?
Yes, wife and daughter.
All right. How are you impacting them?
Like I said, at the end of the day, impacting them, of course, in a great way financially, but also, spending time with them and experiencing things with them. That's kind of like I'm getting to that point of life, right? I just had my first child about 6 months ago.
Wow. So
Newborn. Yeah, Mila. So
yeah,
first baby. We're excited for that journey. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with it.
To me, like I feel like family and people who are closer to you. I mean, most of the time, like in my past anyway, the people who were closest to me were the people that I hurt the most. So like, I think that, I wanted to flip that script for myself, because my first relationship with my son's mother, there was a lot of buttons pushed. There was a lot of things where we just knew how to, when we were fighting. And it got to the point where, death and life is in the power of the tongue. So you can't take back what you say after you say it. And maybe even if you didn't mean it, that's the thing I've learned, I think, with my wife now, and her, because she had 3 kids when I met her, which have now had children. So I'm a grandpa almost. It'll be 3 of them are out of the belly, 2 of them are in the belly right now. I think being able to have that impact and like you said, being able to spend time with them, I think no amount of money can pay for memories. I mean, obviously you have to pay to go to Disney World, right, and have that memory, but I think that memories are very important, and I think that for me, that's my biggest legacy, right? Is my family, my loved ones, the people close to me, people I care about. And if I help anyone outside of that, man, it's icing on the cake. If I'm going to Winn-Dixie and walk in there like, hey, man, I saw your stuff on social media. You're awesome, man. Thank you for sharing that. It helped me. Yeah. That's icing on the cake.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think, like you were saying earlier, money can't buy everything. Like the time that you're able to spend with your family, the experiences, that's something that can't be like, oh, let's make up for it later. No, it can't.
That's it. Yeah. So my wife said something to me recently. We had an opportunity to go on a trip, and at the same time that trip was going on, there was like the new grandbaby was going to be born, and I was like, oh, well, I'll go. And she's like, she gave me like, you can go, all right, but and so there's that decision where you're like, well, this is never going to happen again. I could go on plenty of trips in my life if I want to. Yeah. This I need to be there for. Yeah. But that's where my mind went, was like, you could stay. like but that's the way, and of course, I would never do that, because I get to the point where I'm getting ready to leave and she'd just give me the look, and I'd be like, I know I'm not supposed to go. But I don't know. For me, that's been the biggest impact with changing my mind, body, and spirit, is that realizing that, the people close to you, you're not going to come across certain people like that in your life. Yeah. And even if it's a friend or somebody that is real, they just emit a certain vibe off of them, that you got to hold those people close. So, I mean, and that kind of legacy will live on in them as well.
No, I completely agree. Like you said, materialistic things is not what life is about. Like, yes, you want to be able to drive what you want to drive, live where you want to live, fly where you want to fly, whatever the case may be. But like you said, it's all about those experiences you're able to create, the memories you're able to create. That's what the journey's really about.
I think most people who do want to impact lives and want to build a legacy have all of those needs met, right? Like you said, like if inflation happens, like it's not something I'm too worried about. Like I'm still putting premium in the Porsche, but I want to give back, because I receive more from giving than I ever have from receiving. I think people call me crazy for that too, because it was embedded in me at a young age. I would show up, there's people moving chairs. I'd grab a chair and start moving it. Nobody had to tell me to help. Yeah. It was just something that I did. And so that's, I think, once your basic needs are met or your needs are met, that it's almost in you to want to give it away, because for me, that's my next step. Right.
I completely agree. Because once you're able to accomplish something or learn something or develop a skill set, it's really useless if not shared.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I've always thought about. I always
You
tell
can't
people.
keep it if you don't give it away.
Exactly.
And so talk about a little bit about what impact you want to leave. I know you said you want to leave an impact.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
I want to leave an impact where I affected other people, change their lives
Okay.
in a positive direction when it comes to finance, specifically, probably more so than anything right now, because that's what I do on a daily basis. But overall, just lifestyle, because finances can help in so many regards.
Yeah.
Finances can create that time freedom.
Yeah.
It can create a lot of different things for people to do what they want when they want. So for me, I want to impact people and say, hey, if I impact their life in this little way, right, that's a great thing for me.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do is just help people develop skills and really learn things that, most people can't learn.
So do you have any books?
I have not. I've been co-authored of a couple different books,
Okay.
but
Which ones?
I don't want to promote my books
Okay.
because they're other people's books.
Okay.
Right? But I've written chapters in them. Like
I'm
different
doing
things.
that right now.
Yeah. So I personally never wanted to sell anything. So so you could understand the concept here. The reason I'm not going to name the books is because I never wanted to make people pay for me.
Okay.
So listen to the concept, okay? Like, track it for a sec.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically told anyone who does business with me that you get me for free.
Okay.
So you get all my knowledge for free. You'll never pay for anything. So I've never charged anyone for anything when it comes to people that do business with me.
Okay.
So I've get like the books that I'm giving you an example of that have been co-authored, I've given them all away to my people.
All right.
Never sold them a thing because I said they're bringing me value by being business partners with me. I'm not going to charge anyone for anything.
Okay.
So that was a philosophy I created when I was really young. Most people in my position with influence, they're selling courses. They're going to sell this book, this, that, whatever, like tons of different things, make money on events. Like me, my people, they get it for free.
Okay.
And that's what has actually helped me build a great business because people know, Anthony, if you're working with him, he's doing it all for free.
Yeah. Well, it's not free, but yeah.
In a sense, correct. Exactly. But in the sense of like,
Yeah.
they're just like today with the world, man, so many upselling and buy this and buy that.
Right.
I'm just like I've seen it since I was so young because we were on social media at such a early age, right? We were doing Instagram.
People get turned off by it, I
Yeah.
think, but I think there's more people that are still buying it. So like,
It's true. No, it's true.
so in my opinion, like crypto, when it's at the right spot, you got to jump on it while you can. And you'd be stupid not to if you're that close to doing it,
I would just say like there's a lot of people with influence that sell a lot of shit.
That's why I like to promote authenticity.
Yeah.
I like like there's people that I know personally, and they're like, dude, the difference between you, Jonnie, is like you're not like everybody else. You're actually doing it.
Yeah.
Like anything you post, that's your feet are on the ground in front of whatever it is that you got going on. It's not. It is for me. That's important to the people that I look up to too, because you see a lot of these guys that are driving Lamborghinis and they're selling programs or whatever it is, like not even that, but just self-development or whatever, but they can't even keep a monogamous relationship. Like for me, like I want to learn from somebody that's doing all the stuff that I want to do and pay attention to that because, they're healthy, they're doing well, or, they're proven that they're a CEO or whatever it is that they're saying. They're not just saying they're a CEO.
Correct.
I come from the street, so I smell bullshit from a mile away.
There's an audience for a lot of the stuff,
Yeah.
but a lot of the stuff people will buy and just never use.
That's the reality. That's why I like to look at, like, especially with the coaching thing.
Yeah.
I feel like God will provide those people to me. I'm not out there trying to sell coaching programs. I'm not out there trying to sell anything, but my time is valuable. So at this point, it's like, hey, if you want to do it, I want to make sure you really want to do it because I don't want to take your money and I don't want to waste either of our times.
That's a little different because you're getting like hands-on interaction. A lot of these things on the internet today, it's like, hey, buy this course that AI literally made. And
Right.
They're selling them a course. It's like they download it, buy it, whatever, and it's like they never use it. It's just wasted their money. So it's
Yeah.
like there's just so much stuff out there that my whole thing was like free value, always create stuff. I have multiple websites for, my business partners, like value content. Like I've created all for them, teach
Right.
them skills. Like, of course, they're doing business with me, so that there is a benefit to me. But I'm not the guy who's like, oh, now go buy this, go buy that. Like that's a lot of them do that. Right. So that's a little different for me.
Well, that's important. I like that because I'm the same way. I mean, I feel like that if I don't even have to be doing business with you. I just have to like you and be friends with
Correct.
you and give you my game. I had a buddy call me the other day. He wants to start a podcast and wants to rent the studio. And I said, yeah, I mean, obviously I'll rent the studio to you, like, for the going rate.
Yeah.
But but let's make sure it's right. Like, let's make sure you're not going to make a logo that or a name that 3 months down the road you're going to wish you didn't have. And just little stuff that people help me with. So I want to pass that value on. And I like to give it away. And same thing. People are like, yo, you can't just give everything away. You got to. So that's the hard part for me right now. And I know that, you know, if you're passionate about something and you love doing something, that the money will come.
Money's a factor of value.
Yeah.
Money will always be attracted to you if you're valuable.
That's awesome, man. So what else? What do you got going on in the future here?
So we're going to keep building this business. That's kind of the thing we're locked in right now. We got multiple verticals that we're focused on building with the business to have, you know, let's say income from, you know, solid income from multiple, let's say, entities. So not just being reliant on one, you know, vertical, let's just say, to really diversify the platform as a whole. But I'm excited to teach people. Like for me, like I get most excited to get on a session and show someone something new. My sessions have thousands of people in real time.
Wow.
So thousands of people, they're writing live in a chat.
Where do you do your lives?
So we do them within our platform.
Okay, so you created your own platform.
We've got everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah. 40 plus educators who work full time for us, trading all financial markets, Forex, cryptocurrencies, traditional equities like stocks. We even do futures, indexes, commodities. We trade everything. Wow. There's educators you could get on a daily basis, learn their strategies, learn their techniques. So I love being in the live environment. I love answering the questions in real time.
Hitting on the spot, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. Honestly, learning wise, I think it's the best way to learn. Yeah. Because a pre-recorded video, most people cannot sit there and watch hours of pre-recorded videos.
Because you know there's no one's on the other side of it.
Correct, and you're sitting there and it's just like boring, like you're just watching it. Where you can interact with someone. Like if you ask me a question in real time and you get a real time response, you're engaged. Yeah. You're really seeing what's going on. So I think it's a great way to teach. But it's also like cool where they're able to leverage my knowledge. Yeah. Like let's say I see a stock today. I'm like, I am buying this stock. Thousands of people in real time can go buy that stock. Wow. Like think about how cool it is. We don't give financial advice. So to be very clear, we don't tell people, you need to buy this, you need to buy, we don't tell them what to do with their money.
Almost like when Elon talked about Doge and then everybody went and bought Doge.
Yeah. So we're able to basically like, if I'm on a session and I'm like, I'm buying this stock because of this, this, and this. Yeah. I'll never say you need to go buy this stock or buy this stock, whatever the case may be. But they're able to leverage my knowledge while they're developing skills. I think that environment for me is a lot of fun. I also like going to events and speaking about finance. So it's a fun thing. On top of, you know, leadership, business development, all the other things that I've been able to do. It's a cool thing talking finance with people.
What would you say, obviously, you know, that space or stocks and selling stocks from, you know, from everybody's, my kind of experience with it is obviously watching Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah. These guys aren't the greatest guys. I mean, they were having fun, but what would you say to how your interaction has been in that space? Because you seem like a humble guy. You seem like an upfront guy.
Yeah, so we're not buying or selling penny stocks. So that was like a whole different world. We're buying major companies. Okay. So like Apple, Tesla, like we're trading them, like seeing an opportunity. Hey, the stock is undervalued at this price. If it gets to fair value, I make some money. If it gets overvalued, I make a lot of money, right? Looking at multiples of companies where they range. I like to play in tech stocks. So I like high beta. So they're very volatile, right? Kind of like cryptocurrencies.
I just did a job over here at Club Med. One of the owners is in with NVIDIA. Yeah. He's one of the higher ups with NVIDIA.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you know, that company's had a hell of a run over the last 3 years. AI is, of course, the thing driving the market right now. So I do have a lot of AI picks in my portfolio currently. Smaller ones, right, that have potential to become bigger companies. Yeah. I like the risk to reward on them. I believe AI is going to get bigger and bigger. We're not anywhere near bubble territory. Give you perspective here. NVIDIA specifically, company you're talking about, biggest chip manufacturer when it comes to the AI space today, right? AMD's second behind them. But basically, they've really had their growth over the last 3 to 4 years, like massive growth as a company, okay? They're basically a manufacturer. They
build the product.
Correct. And then they sell the product, right? They're trading at like a 28, 27x multiple, giving you perspective, okay? In the internet bubble, okay, in the early 2000s, Cisco was trading at 168x multiple. Wow. So to give you perspective, they actually have the revenues to back up, you know, what the value of that business actually is. Okay. Not saying every business won't eventually slow down. Right. That's the nature of business. This is why I always tell people, if you have a great business, a lot of times it's smart to exit. Yeah. Okay? Because your business might not be the same business 5 years from now. The world does evolve. Things do move. Yeah. But when it comes to that race right now, I think data center companies, That's what I've been really locked in on. I have a bunch of data center companies in my portfolio because the biggest bottleneck in AI is power.
There's one coming to Fort Pierce.
Yep. Trying to. Yeah, I saw that.
It's not off the table.
Okay, yeah. So data center business is a really, really powerful business today because if you're Microsoft or you're Amazon or you're Meta or whoever you are, every Magnificent Seven company, you want to win that race.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to win that race is by getting more chips online. So they're going to buy them from NVIDIA, AMD, et cetera. So those companies are going to do well, but they're already at such big market caps. You know, NVIDIA is a $4 trillion company. To double your money, the company's got to go to $8 trillion.
Yeah.
That's big moves, right? I'm looking at companies that are worth a few billion that, hey, if they go to 15, 20 billion,
Then you're
look at those multiples I can make, right? But I'm finding those data center companies right now. Got a few in the portfolio that I think are some real winners.
Yeah.
Real winners that I think over the next year are going to be very lucrative.
How have, because I heard somebody talking about it too, about the political environment of the world right now.
Yeah.
How is that affecting the stock market?
Yeah, right now, oil does affect the markets, affects everything. But I don't think that is a long-lasting thing at all.
Okay.
I think it's very short-lived. There's also routes coming for oil that can come out different way. Like in Saudi, they're going to start sending oil to the west instead of coming out the east. Like there's ways to maneuver it. You're still talking about 20% of the world's oil supply comes through the Strait of Hormuz. So that's like the issue we're dealing with right now. I think over the next 2 to 3 weeks, the U.S. will be able to control a lot of that going on in that region of the world by taking out basically every type of air defense system.
Yeah, which is already pretty much almost done.
Yeah, so that's probably going to play out over the next few weeks. Also, a lot of it's overblown because Iran specifically is still selling oil right now to India, to China. They're letting those boats go through.
Yeah.
So for people like don't know, like they're still, because they can't make money either. People don't understand. Like if we stop producing oil and that's our entire revenue stream, we're going to collapse ourselves, right? Like you can't do that. So also yesterday they took the sanctions off Russian oil that's already at sea. So any oil that's out sea that Russia has control of can be sold to anyone right now. They took the sanctions off yesterday just to eliminate some of the pressure over the next couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is I don't see this being long lasting. Under this administration, every time there is a situation, especially a buying opportunity, it's great to buy.
Part two, also, when you talk about buying, is that you're utilizing funds that you've already acquired to kind of grow those funds, essentially.
You're compounding your money, for sure. And opportunities, like when people are fearful, is when you should be buying.
Yeah.
Like any type of asset. Like if you believe in that asset's going to be here long term.
Right.
Like when a real estate crash comes, that's like the most exciting time for a real estate investor. If you have cash, right?
Yeah.
You're like, holy shit, look, all the shit's for the low, right? Like
all those bank foreclosures for $20,000.
Eat them up, right? That's the name of the game. So cash is king when it comes to investing because you have the ability to act. I always tell people there could be a great opportunity, but if you don't have cash, it's just an opportunity, right? You can't act upon the opportunity. So for me, like right now, if there's a stock or a certain company that you like, of course, can't tell you specifically because I don't know what sector or what you're looking at. But if there's something you believe in that's going to be around, like buying Bitcoin at these levels, I'd love to look back at this podcast 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Buying Bitcoin around 60, 70,000.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be a bad move 10 years from now, right? Like, because it's all math.
Right.
Okay. They're going to print more money. We all know that.
Yeah.
There's no way they can't print money. That's how the system's built. Okay.
Right.
They're going to print more money. Dollars going to become worth less. Assets are going to become worth more. Bitcoin, there's already 20 plus million of them in the world. Only going to be 21 million. Guess what happens? Supply and demand. Yeah. It's a very simple formula. This is not rocket science, right? Like, why does the sneaker sell out in the shoe store and then go online for 3 times the price? Because you can't get the sneaker. You can't get it. Same concept. What happens when all the wealthy people are like, hey, we're just going to keep holding our Bitcoin? And there's only so many of them. Michael Saylor alone, his company strategy has like 740,000 Bitcoin. One company has 740,000 of them. Okay, like right now, it's funny though, because, someone will go buy, we got up to about 126,000 the end of last year, October last year, right? Now you got to the low of 60. Right now, currently around 72 in real time.
Yeah.
Okay? The people that would like, oh, I want to buy Bitcoin when it was 130 are the ones scared to buy it.
Yeah.
Now, after a 50% retracement, that's when you want to buy. When people are fearful, that's like the golden opportunity. So, I'm not saying we can't go a little lower. We might go to 50.
Right.
It's possible, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, you got to look at things long term.
Yeah.
Where are you going to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years as the world progresses? So like that's kind of how I look at it. I use Bitcoin as an example just because it's an easy asset to talk about, but it's the same thing with any asset.
Wow.
That's how you have to look at things. I've made a lot more money investing than I have even with income.
Wow.
Which is super powerful because I've been able to buy the right things, be patient, let the game play out.
And it's taken, and you've only 11 years in or 12 years in?
11, yeah, a little over 11 years in. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
No, I mean, you broke it down where it was like understandable to me. So that's
how it has to be. That's why people that get on my sessions are like, Anthony, it's so easy to understand why he's doing what he's doing. He breaks it down in a simple way. Yeah.
Not that I'm scared of it, but sometimes you're scared of stuff you don't know about, and to truly understand it, know it. Like if I told you to come build this job site down the street and don't lose no money, you'd be like, whoa, this ain't my spot, brother. But I go in there and like, you know, look doing. Like it was, second nature.
I would say for your audience, right? Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency at this point that could be comparative to like a gold, right?
Okay.
Like a long-term hedge against the dollar.
Okay.
Everything else is more so a tech stock, which I'll own other things for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll trade other things because there's a lot of opportunity in high volatile assets, as you know. But Bitcoin could be that hedge. And the unique thing about Bitcoin comparative to even gold is there's a finite supply. Gold is not a finite supply. We don't really know how much there is, right? People say there's gold in space.
Yeah.
Okay, people are mining gold every single day. Bitcoin has that hard number, 21 million. Never more, never less. Once we get to 21 million, you still got over about 100 years plus to go before you get to 21 million. So there's 20 million in the world today. Bitcoin comes out each and every day through a process called mining. Basically, imagine like NVIDIA supercomputers, but they're not from NVIDIA because they're ASICs, not GPUs. But just imagine these supercomputers that help basically transactions be basically verified. So like you sending me money, a computer somewhere around the world picks up that, verifies that that money's supposed to come to me before it sends.
Okay.
So it's like that's kind of how it works. They solve blocks. They have the network process and secure the network specifically. I'm giving you like layman's terms, high level stuff. But at the end of the day, that's what they do, and they get rewarded for securing the network.
Really?
But of course, the machines cost a shit ton of money and, of course, a ton of power. So it has to be like feasible, right? Because for what you're getting, it's got to kind of play itself out. So historically, when Bitcoin is not profitable to mine, a lot of miners come offline. People are stopped mining it, right? And basically, the price typically bottoms around that level. And we're kind of around that level where it's not great to mine unless you have like free power, because your power costs are going to exceed what you're able to produce. Typically, that's another sign of like, oh, you're close to a bottom.
Okay.
So we're in that area right now, which is typically a good area. Yeah.
I remember somebody asked me to buy something with Bitcoin, and like I pulled like it's like $500 or something, and in like the 45 seconds it took me to make that transaction, it like changed like $780 or something like that.
Oh, the price?
It went up.
Oh, wow.
But it was. What if it went the other way?
Yeah,
it was like literally.
I wouldn't use Bitcoin to transact daily.
But it was like something like, we take Bitcoin. And I'm like, okay, let me do that. And not knowing that, it's so volatile, that, especially within small amounts of money, that
it's a better form of gold just because you could take it anywhere. That's powerful. Instantaneous transaction anywhere in the world, as you were just stating. But for me, like it's just a hedge. So like in a portfolio, you might want some gold, right? Yeah. Especially older people, they're going to want gold over Bitcoin. And people don't understand how the world works. Right now, there's a lot of gold bugs still. Okay? People in their 60s, 70s, 80s. Like gold was that hedge against the dollar. Yeah. And gold's done extremely well the last couple of years, okay? What happens when those people die off? Their kids get the money. Okay? What are their kids more into? Bitcoin or gold?
Bitcoin.
So what happens? More money flows into the asset class. All the money in the country right now is with the boomers.
Yep.
Okay? As they die off, more money's going to go to these younger people. These younger people would love to buy Bitcoin. They just don't have the capital to do so. So what does that do to Bitcoin over the next 2 decades?
Skyrockets.
It's not. People try to make things so complicated. Yeah. It's not complicated.
You're right.
That's really what it is.
Awesome conversation, man.
Yeah.
Man, that was an amazing conversation. I learned a lot. I definitely am going to take from this, and I hope that you guys are able to take a lot from this. We're gonna definitely post your links in there to get into your platform.
Cool.
And I appreciate all the information, and awesome to hear your story, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely intriguing, and glad that you got a new family and everything's going well for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And we're definitely going to put all those links in the bio, so go check him out, and we'll see you.